Hey, what's going on, you guys? So I decided to pop up on TikTok today because I've recently been seeing a lot of posts about unforgiveness, and I want to, I guess say jump on the bandwagon. Well, because I recognize the importance of discussing this particular topic, and it actually connects to what I was sharing the other day with consideration of emotions are energy in motion. And one of the emotions that really can affect your own chi or the flow of your energy and what you attract and what you allow in your life or can block as far as blessings is unforgiveness, which is the reason why it's so important to express mercy and grace. Here, I'll give you an example. There are situations that people would not believe that I've had to deal with within my own profession since I've become a doctor. Literally, so I graduated in 2015, August 15 of 2015, matter of fact, 33 years old as a doctor. So that's when I received the paper, the conferral. I actually walked or graduated 2013 at that point, but it was just waiting for the paperwork and for the okay as far as my dissertation. But the reality is that my experience after becoming a doctor was very trying. There were people whom tested me, people who not only said very mean and malicious things to me, but people who plotted to actually take my position as a leader, not only with consideration of working for other organizations, but even within my own business. I had to protect my business from people whom were attempting to try to usurp my authority and to take over my business. Now, if I went through all of those things, all of those situations and scenarios literally, and then if I would have held unforgiveness in my heart, I would not still be a therapist or care to express that I am Dr. Cunningham and have a positive impact on the quality of life for minority families. And minority families, from my perspective, are intergenerational families that also are aware of their ethnicity, whether they are immigrant families, part of the BIPOC community, part of the LGBTQIA community, or even interethnic families. So with consideration of that, I am so grateful that I allowed myself space and time to let go. Now, there were points in time where it was tough because some people, what they did and how malicious they were, they deserved, let me tell you something, they deserved to receive backlash. They deserved accountability. But at the same time, if I were to hold that in my heart, then that would have halted me in my progress with consideration of my profession. And so I want to encourage someone today that really unforgiveness only affects you. Like, I can tell you for certain that unforgiveness leads to levels of stress. And stress, as we know, is a silent killer, for real. Literally affects the heart, affects the, how your blood flows, how deeply you breathe, which means that it affects your oxygen levels. And then it gives tension, headaches, and all these things can actually lodge into your body. And people that end up with cancer because of unforgiveness, it's like, no, let it go. For the sake of your wellness, it can even affect your bowels, your gastrointestinal system. People end up with irritable bowel syndrome because of unforgiveness, related to situations and circumstances that were perceived psychologically, emotionally as traumatic. Now, I'm not going to negate the fact that the person did what they did was wrong. They were wrong. Now, and I'm also not going to tell you that you should allow them within your space. But unforgiveness doesn't mean that you let them off the hook. It's for the sake of allowing your own internal, emotional, and psychological wellness to maintain a sense of balance. Now, I'm telling you this from experience, y'all. So that means even if something happened in your childhood that you still holding on to, like, I wish that my parents would have did such and such, or the last person that I was in a relationship with and they did me dirty, or that person in the neighborhood who decided to put their hands on me and I don't know why, and I should have did such and such and so to them, but I decided to walk away. I'm telling you from experience, let it go. Because let me tell you, what you could do in order to get your lick back will probably end up in a situation where it's worse off for you. Let God handle it. Because God has a way of expressing his judgment in a way that we could never. But then also, God has a way of expressing grace, because if we're really honest about a situation, have you ever done somebody dirty, but then you were let off the hook? So the reality is that we deserve grace and mercy just as well as the next person. So sometimes you thinking that you're dealing with the situation because somehow it's just like a one-off, but you might be dealing with some type of spiritual law of compensation, which was you did somebody else dirty, so now you got to deal with your own consequences. And so it actually returned to you, and you realize now how the other person felt. And then it really does help us to think about how we are going to show up in our day-to-day lives, to be more willing to really express kindness, patience, and also are willing to humble ourselves and even ask for forgiveness, because we recognize that we don't want to deal with the sowing and reaping, the reaping of what we've sown. You understand what I'm saying? That spiritual compensation is something else, man. And we want to make sure that we stay in the green. We don't want to be in the red. You know what I'm saying? Let's stay in the up and up. Y'all have an excellent day. And remember, forgiveness really is for you. Release the weight. Because sometimes you end up carrying something on your chest when the reality is not for you to carry. It's something for you to release. And that experience actually can propel you to a greater place. For real. Turn your experience into a program. Turn your experience into a business. Turn your experience into a book. Make sure that you're fruitful because of what you've experienced. Don't wallow in your experience. You understand? Okay, y'all have an excellent day. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Now, consider connecting with me or purchase one of my books on Amazon. For real. More life lessons. # life lessons. Facebook wisdom. Or you can purchase the workbook, which is # life lessons. FB for Facebook wisdom workbook. Or if you are a parent with a young family and you recently lost a loved one, then you and the child can actually utilize a workbook, which is # life lessons grief workbook for children and parents. So, or you can consider purchasing one of my newest books that I published, which is The Nature of Relationships, how to have the principles of prosperous relationships for within your family, friends, and community. Okay? So y'all have an excellent day. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have an excellent day. Happy We Win Wednesday.